Good day, students. Like we've seen from our previous class, today we are going to continue from where we stopped. But before we continue, based on our previous class lectures, I told you we'll be using the environments that we had. So today we are going to be using Notepad++ for our design for all the practical aspects, and today's class is going to be in such a way that we'll do and have a little practical of whatsoever we are talking about. So please, you guys should get Notepad++ installed in your system, or you can even have another text editor. You can have Sublime Text Editor also. It also works like Notepad, but as for the practical aspects here, we'll be working on Notepad++. So please, let's get set and see how we can launch our Notepad++. The Notepad++ is already installed in this system, so I don't need to reinstall it again. I'll just show you how to launch our Notepad++ text editor. So let's see how to launch it. Here you go to your stats button. You can see where my cursor is. You go to your stats. On the start, you can scroll up or down depending on where it is. So you can see Notepad++. So you launch your Notepad++ by clicking on it. Here I already have a certain document on it. If I'm creating a new document on Notepad++, you come to File, then you open New. You can see from this drop down, you can see New. You click on New. You have a new blank document without anything on it. You can see it. So this is a new file. This new, I can save it as a certain name so that I will not forget. Here I'll come here, File, come down to this and save as. So here, let's save as. You can save it as any name, but before you save as, you should note where you want to save your document. Here we want to save it on desktop, and we want it to be on a file. We have a folder here. You can create a new folder. If you're creating a new folder, you right click, create new, then you create a folder. But I'll prefer it to be on a folder that we've already created, which is the name of the course, Web Design and Development 2. So inside the Web Design and Development 2, we'll be saving it inside our practical folder. We created a folder called practical, so whatsoever we'll be having will be inside this practical folder. You can give it a name as practice 1. Let's call it practice 1. Then you come here, save as type. Your save as type, it should be HTML. Unlike our notepad, the normal notepad that comes with our system that you have to put .html, here the save as type is there. So you check HTML under this save as, that's hypertext markup language, under this save as. So you can see it here, hypertext markup language file. Immediately you save it, it's going to save as a web document. Then I click my save. You can see it has changed. So this is how to launch a web Notepad++ or any text editor. You come to File, you come to your Windows icon here, click on it. After clicking on it, or click on it, you search for the type of text editor you've installed in your system. Here we have Notepad++. After clicking, you have a blank document which you can save it. Come to File, then you save as under your file, and it's saved. Please take note of the folder or the place, the address you are saving into, because this will be referenced later. So we have our first thing is to launch our text editor, and this is it. We've launched the text editor, so we can continue our class right now. So let's continue the class for week 3. Week 3, basic thing we'll be having in this week 3 is basic syntax, standard HTML document structure, basic text markup, images, hypertext, links, and list. Each of these I'll also be showing you on the Notepad++ how to implement this. Please whenever you are at your own pace, try to make sure you work based on the practical, so that everything will not just be abstract. You'll be seeing the effect of whatsoever you are seeing. That makes you understand this class much better. So let's go into the basic syntax, which is the next thing. Here you can see not all tags have contents. If a tag has no contents, its form is name. The container and its content together are called an element. These are things we've said last time. We said an element, a tag. We talked on elements, tags, and attributes in our last class. So elements, tags, attributes, the same thing. The container and its elements together, the container and its contents together are called elements. And in HTML, comments, we comment this way. You can have it with open, with this icon and this. So this is how we comment in HTML. So browsers always ignore comments. They did not recognize comments. Comments is just for a readable actions, for people that are using your code or something, for them to have it's readable, for them to understand this. So tags are suggestions to the browser, even if they are recognized by the browser. If you have your element enclosed in a tag, it's a suggestion to the browser that okay, this is an HTML document. So let's go into the standard HTML documents. Here you can see every HTML document must begin with this. Every HTML document must begin with what you see here: version, the version type, the document HTML public, the whole document must. So let's look at it. The HTML, every document must begin with HTML. Head, title, and body are required in every document. The whole document must have HTML, which we explained in our last class that HTML serves as the roots tag. That's this HTML, the browser will not recognize it as a web page. So a document consists of a head and a body, and the title tag is always enclosed in the head tag, and the title tag normally is displayed in the browser window title bar. This is what we have. So let's look at it in our notepad, the notepad we have here. So here we can have every document. We said it begins with this HTML, you can see it here, and we have our HTML head. In our last class which I said every tag must have a closing tag. This is the opening tag here, and this is the closing tag. Please don't forget, this is the head tag and this is the closing head tag, and this is our title, which shows my first web page here. This is the body. We've already saved it as class1.html. So if we are to launch this, we should go to where we saved it. So let's see where we saved it. We saved it on the documents on our we saved it on our web design and development. So you can see practical. So we can launch it. You see that's changed to an icon, a web browser icon. So we can launch it. Here, looking at this, if you look at it, we have nothing on it. There is nothing on this page except for the title that's supposed to show, except for the title, but we have nothing on it. So until when we typed inside this body tag that we're going to have something to show there. So here, looking at this, we're going to continue. All our typing should go inside this body tag. Everything we need to display to the user should be within this body tag. You can see. So whatsoever I want to display to the user should be within the. And please take note of the arrangement here. Since it's the root element, you can see it's starting from here. Then we give a single tab for it to show that this is a children, this is a child to these root elements. Head is a child to the root elements HTML, and title is a child to this head. Head and body are children of HTML. but title is a child of only head. Please take note of the arrangement. This arrangement is very useful so that it makes your work neat and easy to debug when you made error, when there is some error. So let's continue. Now we want to create children for this body by checking our document here. What do we have? So we said basic text markup. That's what we're going into. The basic text markup, we're going to start with paragraph elements. The elements paragraph always has this tag. The P tag breaks the current line and inserts a blank line. Let's look at it. This is what we have. Head, our first document with the title. You can see it's closed. The head here is closed. This is the body, and this is paragraph. So let's copy this and see how it gets implemented in our notes pad. So let's go back to notepad and see how we implement this. We said the head, so let's give single tap. You can see the cursor. This cursor was here actually, but I clicked on the tab key and it moves, just for it to show that okay, the element I want to type is a child of this body. So our paragraph, you can see it's P as paragraph. You see why I'm using notepad? It has intelligence in the sense that immediately I have put something, it automatically completes the tag for me. So here I'm going to have what? Let's see what we have from our greeting from your webmaster. So let's look at it. Greeting from your webmaster. Then we can have a closing tag for our paragraph. You can see this is the closing tag for our paragraph. Then we save this. When you want to save, you go to file and file. Since you've saved it before, it has a name, you just click on save, or you automatically click on Ctrl S for you to save. Then you launch it. Whenever you save, you have to refresh the page. So we need to refresh this page. You can see greeting from your webmaster. Looking at this, our title doesn't show here. Your title always show at the title bar. You see my first web page for the title, you can see it's here. Whatsoever you want the user to see in their web browser will reside inside your body tag. Like this, you see greeting from your webmaster. It's inside the body tag in our notepad. That's in our text editor. Look at this. So greeting from your webmaster. You can see there's an error. That's why this one, everything here, our elements here are showing blue. The tag here is showing blue. But why is it that this one is showing red? This is something you have to ask yourself. There must be something wrong. That is why we are using Notepad++. It helps you to debug, like I said the other time. You can see there is something wrong. So that means when I checked it very well, I noticed I did not close this tag very well. You see, it doesn't have this sign. Very good. When I input it, you can see the color has changed to blue. Even though when I run it, it's run. So whatsoever the change you made to your notepad or to your text editor, you always try and save it. So Ctrl S, always saved. Please save your work. So you go back to your browser and refresh. Written from your webmaster. This is the first syntax. This is the first thing we have. That's the P tag, the paragraph elements, and the paragraph elements, you can see it's implemented in our text editor. Let's go to the next elements that we think we want to have. Line break, because sometimes when I'm having a paragraph elements, let's look at it. A paragraph elements, I'm having a lot of things in my paragraph. How do I break it? Let's take for example here, this is a paragraph. I have so many write-up, but I want to break it. I don't want it to go very long. The width should be so much. Let's copy a certain text from, let's look if I have any web documents on this Word documents. So I have any Word documents in this. And these. So let's use this. Very good. I'm using this as my web documents, as a paragraph text. Let's paste it here. We are using it as a paragraph text. You can see it's going a very long way. It goes a single line. Let's save it, Ctrl S. Then you see the effects in our web browser. The width is so long. You can see it's the width is so long. It occupies the width of the whole page. So, and maybe sometimes I don't want it this way. Looking at this from the notepad, it occupies everywhere. It doesn't even break anyway. So if I want it to get break, I want a line break from my documents, I can decide to say okay. Let's copy something again. Let's copy this. Control C. We want a line break from what we have here. If I'm to Control V, if I'm to type it, it's still continue here. But I want this to continue. I want this to continue in the next line. I can have a line break here. If you're seeing it here, Control S. Let's have it here. You can see greeting from your webmaster by default word align text, you see, but I want this by default to start in the next line. So we apply, in order to do this, we apply break, the element called break, BR. This break doesn't have a closing tag. It's one of the tags that doesn't have a closing tag. Then you save it again. You can see it's in the same line. If I'm to check it from my browser, since I've applied the line break, it should go to the next line. You can see it's by default. So this is how we have it line in the next line. Anytime you have a very long paragraph and you want it to break, you align that, you implement your break tag elements. So this is the next line break example of paragraph. You break it. Let's look at this. Control C. We should apply the line break here and see how it works. Control V. Look at it. We said on the planes of hesitation. For paragraph, we're having a paragraph here, then we have a line break here. Let's save it and see how this will show in our browser. Very good. On the plane of hesitation, bleach the bones of countless million who had the dawn of victory, sunk down to wait and waiting. Like you can see, it breaks into different line with paragraph. This is how to implement paragraph and line break for your work. So let's see. Preserving white space. The text content of pre element is placed as it's entered. So if you want to preserve a white space, you can type on pre to preserve a white space. Then let's go into basic text markup. we've done line break. The next thing is to see our heading. HTML, in HTML we have 6 heading. We have 6 heading in HTML. We have from heading 1 to heading 6, and each of this heading has different font. H1 use font size that are larger than the default font size. So 4 is the main default font size. If you don't have anything, you don't have a heading, the default size is going to give is for heading 1. But 1, 2, and 3 has a larger font size than any other heading. Then 5 and 6 use smaller font sizes. So let's see how each of this works in our browser. For the heading, let's copy what we have here so that we won't waste much time. Ctrl C. I told you whatsoever you want your user to see will reside inside the body tag. So you see anything I'm typing it inside this body. It doesn't go beyond the body tag. This is the opening tag for the body, and this is the closing tag. So I have to paste whoever I want to paste here. So we're going to see the difference: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6, each one with their closing tag. You can see the closing tag for H1, H2, you can see the closing tag. Here there is a mistake, so I need to change this. The closing tag is supposed to be something like this, you can see. So please always take notes. Oh, there is no mistake. That's how it is. This is the closing tag here. This is the closing tag, and the H4, you can see the closing tag somewhere here, H5 and H6. So let's save it, Ctrl S, and refresh our browser. You can see it's not showing here until when you refresh your browser before you can see it. Please, can you see it? This is for heading 1. You can see how the font size is very big. Heading 2 is bold, bigger than, or heading 5, and then heading 6, you see they are very small. So depending on what you want to see, or how you want your users to visualize your work, you can use heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3. The list you have is heading 6, from heading 1 to heading 6, and defaults that our system normally come is heading 4. You can see the size, it's by default heading 4. So we've seen the headings that we have H1 to H3, and we've seen how this is implemented in our markup. Please we should try and do this at home. Then let's see block quotes. Content of block quotes. To set a block of text off from the normal flow and appearance of text. So let's see how it works. Our block quotes, let's see how it works in our notepad. So let's copy the block quote here. So let's see how it works in our notepad. Here they have all these texts. Then let me implement my block quotes here. You can see where I'm implementing my block quotes. Let's say Ctrl S, and refresh the page and see what happens. Very good. You can see here the block quotes by default align this. It's just like a quote. You want to show that okay, this is different from what you have before. It's aligned, it's this way. Let's remove it and see what we have before. You can see what we have before. It's starting from this side. Where's my notepad? So here I want to have these are block quotes. No, I want the block quotes to stop somewhere here. Ctrl S. I don't want it to go with this, so please take note of whatsoever we are doing. Very good. You can see the block quotes only has effect on this one. Text to the left margin in view documents, it only have effect on this one, and it's making this one stand alone. You can see whatever we have started from this left side, or here it goes a little bit inside, just to show that okay, this is a block quotes. Very good. So the next thing is to show here is to show some font styles and sizes. So we can show emphasis, strong, monospace, and so offset and interlink. So let's use all this, some of the font size that we have here. Font size that we have here. Let's make example to emphasis, strong, superscript, and subscript. Thanks. When you're doing your mathematical equation, and you want your students to have a superscript that's something like x subscript 2 with superscript 3. We can see it here. So let's see how to write this. Let's see how to make your text strong, or you want to add italic to your text. These are some of the things that I will be showing you in our notepad next. Then we have what we call inline versus block elements. Block elements cannot be nested, while inline elements can be nested. These are two different things. So as an assignment, look at some inline elements and block elements and practice how they work. So let's see the some markup like emphasis, strong, superscript, and subscript. How do we implement each of this in our notepad? So let's go back to our notepad plus and see how to implement what we just have here. How do we implement it in our notepad plus? Let's look at this first. I want to make this text very bold. I want to make on the plane of hesitation bold. So here what you have is to put it in between these bold tag on the planes bold. Very good. So here you see that whatever I'm having here, the fonts will be very bold than any other thing here. So let's save, Control S and refresh. Take notes on the plane of hesitation. Refresh. You can see it's on the plane of hesitation. You can see what we have here. Then when we refresh, let's see what we have. You can see it's bolder than what we're having here. So this is how to make your text bold. Now let's see, this is what we have. Let's see emphasis, the effects of emphasis in our web page. Let's say we want to emphasize this word down. I want to emphasize on down. Sometimes when you're writing, you want to make emphasis on a certain word so that the students will take note of it's down. You want to make emphasis on this down. Emphasis is EM, please. EM. Mistake here. So emphasis. This down. Let's see how it's. Control S. Go back to your browser. Then you refresh your browser to see. You can see it. It's italic. Unlike this one that is standing straight, this one is a little bit slant, making it italicized down. Who at the down of victory can see it. So now let's look at our superscript and subscripts. Superscript and subscript, the implementation of superscript and subscripts. Let's say I want to have something like x to the subscript 2 and superscript 2. So let's see how we're going to write it here. I have it already here. Well, here the first thing you should write the main thing you want to add that superscript to. Let's say is y. Now superscript, you can write it either way. I can put the subscript first, then the superscript last. But you know, the subscript is supposed to come before the superscript. Let's write it in the other way and see the effect. Let's see. Superscript we want to put to the power of 5 here. If you're writing in capital letter or small letter, it doesn't matter when you're using HTML. But I prefer writing all this in small letter. Superscripts superscripts to the power of 5. Once the superscripts to the power of 5, then you close your tab using the superscripts. Then we also want to have a subscripts. It should be subscript of 7. I want it to be 7 here. Subscripts to be 7. Let's do Ctrl S, save it, and let's see the effect. So we'll come back to our browser, we refresh the browser here. You can see it here, y to the power of 5 subscript 7. But if we are to write this properly in a mathematical way, it should be y subscript 7. You can see it's depending on how you want to arrange it. Here the subscript comes first before the superscript, and here the superscript comes first before the subscript, depending on how you want to arrange it. Please take notes. Then you can see it here, we don't have a line break, so I want you to see it distinctly. Here this y should come down. I can implement this line break, which is one of the things we've learned earlier. So I can decide to put a line break here. So let's put a line break here, BR for line break. It doesn't matter whether capital letter or small letter. HTML is not case sensitive. So let's refresh it, and we can have our y here down, so you can see the effect of our line break once again. So we've seen some effects of different markup tags that we have. So now let's go to the next thing, basic text markup, character entities. Because when you're dealing with mathematical characters, you see different characters. How are we going to implement this character mathematical entities? For example, when I'm having and, this greater than, this less than, all this 1/4, I want to implement it in my browser. So let's see one each after the other. For and, greater than, less than, and so in most places we normally use this ampersand size for entity, for different entity. This is character, you can see it starts with an ampersand, less than, greater than, double quotes, single quotes, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, degree, non-breaking space. This is what we have. So let's implement some of this and see how it works. So let's have our and, greater than, and less than in our notepad. Let's see. I want to say 5 is greater, 5 and 6, 5 and 6, and I want to show with the ampersand size. So I will have 5. You can see I'm writing in between my body tag 5 and 5 and 6. This should be what I'm going to have. Because I'm having ampersand, I can decide to change it to small letter. I can decide to use capital letter. So 5 and 6. Let's see how we implement this. Ctrl S, then you refresh your page. You can see 5 and 6 here. It's this ampersand. Let's see if we did not put the semicolon. Please, let's break the line. I want it to be in a separate line with our y. So let's implement line break. Ctrl S. What if I did not put this semicolon here? Let's see what we're going to have. Ctrl S. Let's refresh our page and see 5 and 6. So we mustn't put the semicolon. It still shows 5 and 6. So let's go into greater than or less than. For a greater than, let's implement line break first, so that it shows on a different line. For a greater than, let's say I'm having 5. Is it greater than 6? 5 ampersands greater than GRT 4. 5 is greater than 4. Is that not? Control S. Let's refresh. You can see it's 5 is greater than 4. If I want to write less than, for me to write a less than sign, since we are all mathematical students, I can still have my line break so that it will show distinctly. I will have 5 is less than, 5 is less than, Alt is less than 7. 5 is less than 7, right? Control S, make sure you save, then you refresh. So you refresh, showing 5 is less than 6. So you can continue and make sure you finish it up to all these entities that we have. Each of these entity you can try it. Let's try 1/4. Let's try 1/4. So for me to write 1/4 or 1/2, I can have something like this: ampersands, fraction, one quarter is 1/4. Is that not 1/4? Control S, save it. Let me implement line break so that it's not showing in the same line as this one. Control S, save it, then refresh it from your browser. So let's see. No, we've made a mistake. So our fraction is FRAC. We made a mistake. Where is our notepad? So let's go back to our notepad and see the mistake that we made. Oof, let's see. Control S, Control S. Still, it's not still showing 1/4. So we need to look at it very critically and see what's happened. This ampersand half fraction. Control C. Let's see what makes ours not work. Let's look at notepad. Let me go down here and Control V. One over 2. Here it shows 1/2. Let's see for 1/4 what happens in our work. Let me retype it. So let's say ampersands fraction. Well, here I want to have 1/4, 2/4. That's what I want to have. Control S, 2/4. Very good. Ampersand fraction 2/4 is still not showing. Look at it. So you sometimes you encounter error like this, then you have to check it very well to make sure you're debugging it well. Ready? Look at this. So that's very important when you're dealing with fractions. 2/4. Let's see what is wrong. I'm going to change it. That's what is wrong. So refresh. No. 1/2, 2/4. Let's see what we have typed wrong. Is there anything we typed wrong? Let's look at it very well. Each student should also look at it. Enter. Let me see. Ampersand. Ampersands. fraction frac 2 4. I need to put the sign there. Without the sign, it's going to work. So I need to put the sign. See why it's not working? Because I don't put the sign. Immediately I put the sign, each one of them changes. So Control S. Please take notes. You need to put your semicolon if you are dealing with fraction. Please, you can see. So you need to take notes. You need to put your semicolon column when dealing with fraction, please. So you need to put your semicolon when dealing with fraction. So the next thing here, we practice the rest of the fractional aspect and see the effects in your places. So let's go to images. How do we put image in our browser? Image, we have different image formats. We have GIF, which is stand for graphic interchange formats. We have JPEG, which is 8-bit here, color 256. 24-bit joint photography experts group. We have the PNG, which is portable network graphic. So the extension depends. So any extension you have, make sure that after the name of the image, you put the name of the extension. So we put dots. So extension. So let's see how our image comes. Image comes always with this image with the source as the attributes, and you have to put the name of the image. Control C. So let's implement this in our browser. Enter. Control V. Looking at this, we have image source equals to, if this image is not showing, you should have an alternative text for it. Let's see Control S. Let's save it and see how. Here's this image. I don't have it here. How it's going to show. You can see a picture of comets. The image is not showing, but it's showing a name that, okay, this is the picture of comets. With this alternative, you always have that picture of comets. So because of these alternates that we have, that's why even if the image is not showing, the name will show. So let's look at the source. Comes to JPG. It's not showing. Do you have any image on this desktop? Let's check if you have any image on the desktop and see. Okay, we have image here, and the image, let's say the name is comets.jpg, the name of this image. Let's rename it comets. Is it JPG? Let's be sure if it's .png. You can see the type of file is .png. So let's reference it to .png, and this is saved inside the pictures, inside screenshots. Now let's see it from this practical. This, let's just rename it. For our practical class, let's rename it as comets, and it's have to be .png, comets. So we have comets.png from our practical class. Png, yes, because that's the name of the extension. So here we can come here and come to the browser and refresh it. Wow, the image is so large. Look at it. We have the image here. but it happens that the image is so large. It's a very big image, which is very large. I don't have any image on this system. I will have to just put it, and if I'm to send image right now, it's going to take time. So this is the image, but the image is so large. Let's see if you can reduce the size of the image. Let's see heights. We can reduce the size, height to 500. The width. All this will go into them attributes. I don't want to reduce the size of what I'm having here. The second S is too large. First, you can see it's reduced to a smaller size. Oh, it's big. The height is so long, but the width at least it reduces. So let's reduce it again and see the width and the height. Let me use pixels. Let's see 50, 30. That's something very small, even if it's invisible. Very good. You can see the picture here. Let's bring it down soon. So we reduce the height and width to 50, 30. I want our picture to come to the next, the image to come to the next line. So let me implement line break here. Control S, save it and refresh. Right, you can see your image here. So please, if you have any question when we come to our practical class, you can ask your question. This is for image. You can see how we implemented image with the source and attributes, and we have other attributes also. In order to reduce our image size, we added the attributes height, we added the attributes width in order to reduce the size of our picture, so that you guys can, so that the students can see it very well. So whatsoever I'm doing it, you can see I'm doing it inside our body tag. Please make sure whatsoever you're doing should reside inside the body tag. This is the body tag closing. So there is a small space. I can also take it down and implement other things. We are lacking behind. The time is not by our time. So let's quickly go to the next thing, and this is for us to have our tags lists. Please, the list. We've implemented image. The next thing is hypertext link. So I think we should stop the class here. There is no time. So in our next class, we're going to start from this hypertext link to list, tables and forms. So please make sure in our next class, before we have our next class, you guys are ready and you've practiced what we had in this first class. Thank you.